looked at 17,021 records, 196 species, from 425 observers from 526 different sites. Sounds a lot. The number of records is down by about 3,000 from 2021, and I think that probably emphasises the effect of lockdown on birding. And in 2021 we still had a period of lockdown at the start of the year when we had a lot of records, and that didn't apply in 2022. 196 species submitted to the website is quite a good total. However, in that total there are always some that are not accepted in the end, either because records aren't submitted to the Rarities Committee or they're not accepted by the committee. Here's the last 10 years or so in terms of numbers of species per year, and my estimate for 2022 is that it's going to be around 192 in the end. I was wrong last year. I said 192 last year, and it ended up being 196, so perhaps I'm a pessimist. But we're a little way off the heights of approaching 200 as we had in a couple of years in a row 10 years ago, and then we got close to that a bit more recently. But let's look at some of the highlights of 2022, and it started on the 1st of January with a green-winged teal at Wilston Reservoir, which was not in fact this bird. This was a second bird, also at Wilston Reservoir in March. So 2 records in 1 year is pretty good. The 4th and 5th records for the county. Prior to 2021, when the 3rd record was, we go back all the way to 1997. So whether this is a returning bird, I don't know. The bird on the 1st of January was very elusive and not seen by many, and it was seen at a distance. But this one stayed from the 24th of March to the 4th of April, and as you can see, showed very well and was a county tick, I think, for many birders. Sadly, it might well be lumped back with Eurasian teal into being a subspecies, so it may not stay on people's lists for very long. I have to say the year started pretty well, because soon after we had this Serin, which was at Wood Oaks Farm in the southwest of the county. This was the 6th county record and the first since 1991, so that's obviously a long period without a record. It stayed from the 27th of January to the 18th of March. It could, however, be best described as elusive. And several people had to go several times before they saw it, and some people didn't see it at all. But an excellent record found by Paul Lewis. It's his photo on the left, and there's also another photo, a very nice photo from Elaine Curtis. I don't think it showed that well a lot of the time. What else have we got in the winter? Well, let's have a quick look at this is the end of the winter. This is a video of Brent Goose taken by our esteemed chairman, and there's a point halfway through when you can see it looks the chairman right in the eye. We'll get there in a sec. There we are. I'm sure I like looking at it. And funnily enough, it didn't stay long afterwards. I don't know if I didn't like it at all, but there we are. But a good video of a bird that's just about annual in Hertfordshire, certainly perhaps not quite as common as it used to be.
Sorry, Graham, when was that?
That was a tin header.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Same day as the bearded tip.
Come on to the bearded tip later. Stop jumping ahead. I'll just talk about a few other highlights of the sort of first winter period. So there was a regular third winter Cumlian's gull, or believed to be Cumlian's gull, in Cambridgeshire, and that was seen twice in the Royston area across the county boundary. Cattle egrets were at Ickleford in January and Thorley Wash in February, and it was a good early period for hawfinches, with up to 10 at Bramfield, the regular wintering site, and also a very good record of 11 at Simonside Wood near St Albans. There was a hen harrier at Shafton Hoe End, and if anyone knows where that is, well done, but it's very far northeast of Hertfordshire. Also another one at Wallington on the 12th of March, and a couple of records of smew, female at Amwell from the 1st of January to 19th of Feb, same bird, possibly at Wymees on the 1st of April, and then there were males at Frogmore Lakes near St Albans and also North Ment Pit in the Lee Valley, and also a flock of 11 white-fronted geese at Wilston on the 3rd to the 13th of January. So what do we have next? Well, If I tell you that the small bird is a buzzard, I suspect that the large bird can only be one thing, and it is the white-tailed eagle, one of the birds from the Isle of Wight introduction project. And just the bit gone in the video, you can just see the radio tag on its back. So, what a big bird that is. This was the second year in a row we've had white-tailed eagle recorded. As with last year, bird from the reintroduction project. This was seen twice on the same day, 29th of March, firstly at Whitwell, and then this video was taken by Anne Wan at Panshanger. Yes, something that may just become more common as these birds wander from their release site on the south coast. We also had our 48-hour patch race near the end of April, and one of the good birds that was turned up was this bar-tailed godwit at Kingsbourne Green. During that 48-hour period, Rupert might be telling us at some point about what might happen this year, we'll see. Another quality bird was the stone curlew in the spring. In fact, there were 3 separate records, so 22nd of March, bird sound recorded over St Albans Garden, 29th of March, a bird at Stanford Gravel Pits, and then this bird which showed really well at, on the Baldock to Warrington Road on the 22nd of May. Here's a little clip from Simon West which will show you how a striking bird can disappear quite easily into the background. This video was much longer, but it spent about 2 minutes standing still doing absolutely nothing. You wouldn't even know it was a video. So this is a little bit of it. And you can... I'll just talk about a couple of other spring highlights. So the first record for bearded tit at Tittenhanger was between the 11th and 14th of March. There was also a kittiwake at Wilston Reservoir on the 6th of March. Pink-footed goose at Wilston Reservoir from the 30th of March to the 13th of April. And on the subject of geese, white-fronted goose at Pisherbury Park on the 11th of April, and then another bird at Amwell in April and through most of May. Glossy ibis, very briefly, landed at Kingsmead on the 8th of March before moving on. And we had white storks over Sarrett on the 13th of April and Hillfield Reservoir in May. And a crane over Sandridge on the 16th of April, and 3 cranes over Wilston Reservoir on the 22nd of April, while there were up to 5 cattle egrets at Wilston Reservoir for much of the spring period as well. Ring ouzels were from 3 sites in April, and possibly some very sad news of what might be the last tree sparrow sighting from the Tittenhanger area on the 30th of March. We can hope there may be more, but as far as we know, I think there haven't been any since then. Let's have a look at probably lots of people's favourite bird of the year. So this is the hoopoo that was found at Hinksworth and was present between the 21st and 26th of June. We received some super photographs of this bird. Let's have a look at this one with its crest up. And then let's watch the video. And watch the start of the video for a lovely toss and catch of a little insect. There we are. And this bird showed really well closely at times, and it's my favourite because I saw it. There we are. Another good bird of the summer period, this sandwich tern at Fellens Valley Lakes on the 14th of July. This was the last of, in fact, 5 sandwich tern records for this year, which makes a pretty good year for that species. And let's have a little bit of video from Simon West of this bird. Not doing very much, but still great to see in Hertfordshire anywhere. And I'll give a little shout out to the birders of Fellens Valley Park. I believe this 2022 was the first year they recorded 100 species at the park, which I have to say, for an urban park, is a pretty good effort. So well done to Tom Speller, Andy Day, and all the others who go there. Assume this video is going to end in a minute. It is now. So, Let's talk about a little bit of breeding, and obviously peregrines are doing very well in Hertfordshire. There were 11 peregrine chicks raised in 2022 in the county, and probably the highlight is the first chick to be reared from St Albans Abbey. So there is Artemis on the left. He and the parents were all named. He was the chick that was reared. You can see him very small in the middle picture, a bit bigger in the left-hand picture. That's his mother with him there, and she was named Boadicea. And then the father was Alban. Alban got 52% of the public vote, fortunately ahead of Falconey McFalconface with 11%. And there is Artemis as a fully grown juvenile. Obviously great to see the species doing so well in the county. Mentioning a couple of other summer highlights. So on the subject of breeding, we had the first record of breeding stone chats from the west of the county for some time. First spoonbill of the year was at Stockers Lake on the 1st of July, and a particular rarity was the singing golden oriole at Wilston Reservoir on the 3rd of July. I'm not sure it was seen by anyone, but it was sound recorded and heard by quite a number of people. That's the first golden oriole since 2006. Autumn, according to waders, may have started on the 5th of June. Anybody will tell you autumn starts earlier than anyone else thinks. That was at Coursers Road, a little stint there at Tittenhanger, and it was a real reasonable quail summer with records from 6 different sites. And a notable sighting on 27th of June of 3,800 swifts at Wilston Reservoir. How anyone could count that many swifts, I don't know, but there were clearly a lot there. Now moving on to autumn, curlew sandpiper is a classic autumn wader migrant. Here are 2 birds, obviously quite close at Wilston Reservoir on the 17th of September. There was a further curlew sandpiper at the same location between the 6th and the 14th of November. Here's a bird a bit out of place, lovely Dartford warbler on the Baldock and Wallington Road, sitting on a quinoa crop, a bit different from the heathland you would expect, so that was only seen for a very short period but very well photographed. And another single observer record, this spoonbill at Amwell, which flew over but didn't hang around, and very well captured by Stephen Brown there. Here's a good photo of a stint, also from Stephen. This bird was one of, I think, 2 at Coursers Road that were present for some time. There was a further single bird at Wilston Reservoir in November. Let's have a quick look at the little stint. In fact, it's Stanborough, forgive me, Stanborough gravel pit. And let's have a little stint video. One from our chairman. He didn't scare this one away, fortunately. So, next up is a real surprise. 21st of October, Harpenden Common. I don't think you'd expect to come across a goshawk, but that's exactly what Mike Hammond did. And he found it eating a feral pigeon. Quite how he managed to not scare the bird away and get this video, I've no idea. But I'm not sure I've ever seen a video of a goshawk in Hertfordshire at all before, certainly not one like this. And there's a second part to it as well. So here we are. I think this was just done with his mobile phone. I'm not sure. It's quite something. I think I'd have dropped the phone by now with it. talking about a few other autumn highlights. So the only short-eared owl of the year, one record only, was on the 29th of September near Stockers Lake, which is a very, very poor year indeed, and I don't think we've had any this year yet either. There was a wryneck at Simonside Farm on the 18th and 20th of September. Further hawfinches into the autumn and then into the winter, Bramfield, Fairlands Valley Park and Hertford. Single hen harrier record at Stanborough Gravel Pits, 24th of October, and it was a really good autumn for sun passage migrants. So we had at least 17 different pied flycatchers and 19 different redstarts, including 2 pied flycatchers and 4 redstarts together, Radwell Wood on the 17th of August. And when I think about some years where we don't get a pied flycatcher at all, that's a pretty good haul. And quite something must have been the size of 10,000 starlings along the border to Wallington Road on the 20th of October. I don't know if they were on the Quinoa as well. If so, we need to get planting some more, I think. Into the winter period, and a bit of a surprise with this juvenile whooper swan, started off being found at Fairlands Valley on the 4th of November, then moved to Amwell, same day, 4th, stayed to the 5th, and then on to Rarities on the 5th and stayed there till the 23rd of November. So fairly long stay and seen by quite a few people. Here's the Sabine skull, the dark grey small bird, centre middle. That was seen on several occasions in the Amwell gull roost between the 16th and 24th of November. Again, not an easy bird to see. It was a distance in poor light. It was often coming in, I think, after sunset and disappearing very early in the morning, if it even stayed all night. But this was the first in the county since the well-watched bird at Startop's End in Tring in 2012, so 10 years before. Bearded tits were very popular at Ryemeads. They arrived in late October, and up to 4 were sporadically seen in the reed beds there, and they're still present. I think they were recorded as recently as Wednesday of this week, so fingers crossed there if they stay a bit longer and decide to breed. It's also a good winter period for jack snipe, and here we have a lovely comparison photo from Barry Travis from Hertfordshire Springs of a common snipe and a jack snipe next to each other. We of course had the period of snow, unusually in December, so unusually early in the winter, and I have a feeling that had an interesting effect on wintering bird populations. I think that perhaps the lack of birds in most of the winters because they moved on elsewhere and didn't come back, but it certainly brought the snipe out to show during that period, and we've had lots of good photos and videos of common snipe and jack snipe from Lensford. Mention also, while on the subject of Lensford, Barry's provided me with a couple of extra tidbits of information. So there was a water rail at Lensford that was ringed in Germany, of all places, which is a pretty long distance for that sort of bird to migrate. And Lensford, as you may have read, also has the oldest known green sandpiper in the world there this winter, as it has been previous winters. It's at least 12 and a half years old, having been ringed in 2012 when it was an adult. So quite some record there. The snow, very briefly, brought us a great grey shrike at Redbourneberry. Single observer record again, well photographed here. Looked for quite a bit afterwards, I gather, but it had moved on, clearly, by that time. So that, again, is the first we've had for some time in the county. Mentioning a couple of other winter highlights, so brief visit to the Great Northern Diver to Hillfield Reservoir on the 21st of November. Another kittiwake record also from Hillfield. And the only mealy red pole of the year flew over Hempstead Garden on the 5th of November. Smew returned, Stockers Lake on the 4th to 9th of December, and probably the same male is present in 2023 and been very much appreciated. I'll finish with a little bit more jack snipe, because who can resist a little bit of bobbing? This is again from Barry Travis from Hertfordshire Springs. So there we are, that's it.
you.